Hey guys, so these are some tips to keep a toned stomach. So I was asked on my Instagram Q&A just some things that you can do to tone your stomach, get a toned belly, flat belly, things like that. So I'm just going to go over a few basic things that are really helpful, and if you do them consistently, you'll get where you want, you'll get your goals. So there's no really like quick fix and things like that that will get you just a really nice toned stomach. So what you need to do, and I wrote them down so I don't forget to mention anything. I don't like forgetting things. So first off, just before I even mention any of them, being consistent with it is really what's going to get you your goals. So if you do them all one day and then eat really poorly, don't exercise, and don't drink any water for 3 days and then go back to like your healthy tips, then you're not going to get anywhere. But if you consistently do it more so than not, then you'll be moving towards your goals. So the first tip is something everybody knows, that sometimes we still don't do it. Make sure you drink your water. So you need to drink enough water every day, because when you don't drink enough water, you retain more water, which is weird, right? You would think, oh, I'm retaining water, I'm bloated, I don't want to drink anymore, I need to lay off. But the more, like when you drink the right amount of water, then you won't be retaining as much water. So first one, drink your water. Always drink your water. Second, really important, nutrition has a ton to do with it. I know you guys know this. But it's not fat, it's not carbs, it's processed carbs, but not things, like definitely still eat your whole grains, your quinoa, your vegetables and fruits. Those are good carbs. Carbs that fuel your body, keep you healthy, keep you having lots of energy. The things that you really, really, really want to avoid: processed foods, so packaged cakes, chips, candies. Definitely avoid the sugar, not fruit sugar as much as just your candy, your added sugar, your fructose, your just any form. And there's a list online. You can see all the different ways that sugar is snuck into like your food. It's not just written as sugar. There's like 50 different names, and you don't even know sometimes that they're putting sugar in your food because it's under a name that you don't recognize. It's crazy. It's terrible, but crazy. So that's another thing you always need. If you're going to eat something that comes in a package or something like that, you always want to check the ingredients list. Look for things that you just really don't know what they are, or there's some crazy long chemical name. Chances are it's probably not that good for you. And then know like the common names that sugar hides under, because the more added grams of sugar that's in your snack, the worse it's going to be for you. Anyways, so avoid processed foods. So that includes like white flours and things like that as well. So you want to stick with your whole grains. Cut back on sugar, especially the processed white sugar and added sugar that's sneaking in your foods. Those are the first two. And okay, so here's another good one. So you want to find out what bloats you out, like what makes your stomach, your digestive system kind of go haywire. For some people it's dairy, for some people it's grains, and it's really hard for us to tell because we eat these things all the time. So a good way to kind of figure out what messes with your digestion and your stomach and bloats you is to kind of cut some things out for a few weeks. So say you eat a lot of cheese, drink a lot of milk, and have pizza and stuff all the time. You may want to try and see, if you find yourself bloated a lot, well, what happens if I don't eat these things for 3 weeks, and see if it helps, and see if when you add them back in, you start to have problems. So what you would do is you kind of don't eat it for a while. It's got to be like at least 2 to 3 weeks so it gets all out of your system and stuff. And so then you add it back in. And when you add it back in, you can tell if it messes with you or not. Because sometimes it's hard to tell when we eat it every day. Our body it may mess with it, but it's used to having it. So when you cut it out for a while and then you add it back in, if cheese really bothers you, you're going to be able to tell because you haven't been having it for a while. So that's the third tip. Find out what makes you bloated, what messes with your stomach and your digestion. The next thing that I have is, of course, your fitness routine. So when people talk about their abs and their stomach, sometimes they tend to think, well, if I just do a lot of ab exercises, it'll be great. I'll have a six-pack. But really, working your abs from all different angles in a variety of ways, your abs really get worked during every movement because your core is working to stabilize you. So when you're doing squats, your core should be working. when you're doing lunges, your core is keeping, it's what helps to keep you balanced when you're walking and lunging and things like that. So for a flat belly, you need to have a well-rounded workout plan. So something that includes your fat-burning cardio, so like your HIIT, your high intensity, your weights. I always recommend weights. It's really good for tons of reasons, which could go on in a whole nother video. So your cardio, your weights, and you always want to make sure to stretch, things like that. And you just want to make sure that your plan doesn't just focus on the core. You want to hit your upper body, your lower body, your core, everything. So when you're doing things targeting your core, you want to make sure you put some planks in, and all kinds of ab exercises. The more variety you have, the more angles you're going to hit all your muscles, the better results you're going to get. Variety is always good. And so yeah, those are the tips that I have for a flat stomach. So your water, cutting out your processed foods, your super salty chips and your white flour and cookies and packaged food, checking for your sugar. Always check for sugar. You don't want too much sugar. That's what really is the worst thing for your belly and having belly fat. And then the next one was find out what messes with your digestion and what causes you to be bloaty. And then of course your fitness routine. So you want something well-rounded. You want something that's going to burn fat, build muscle, and sculpt those core abs so that they show up and you can see them. And then most importantly, you want to be consistent. You want to be consistent with all of this stuff. And that's not saying that you can never ever have cookie again. Definitely not true. You just have to be more consistently good with your eating and exercising and water and everything than you are with your snacking. So you just want to do more of the good stuff and occasionally have the bad food, so to speak. But anyways, I hope that you enjoyed some of those tips and that you'll use some of them and you'll get that six-pack going. Anyways, so just consistency, and I know you can do it. You definitely can. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.